Hello, and welcome to Cheers. That's one woman's opinion. I'm your host, Carolyn Mills. You may have noticed there's a new theme song this week. That's because I brilliantly accidentally deleted the original theme song. So I found a new theme song to replace it because I couldn't remember what the original one was. And I decided to try something new this week also with putting the theme at the end as well. See how that goes. So today we'll be looking at Cheers Season 1, Episode 10. It is called Endless Slumper. It was directed by James Burrows, written by Glenn Charles, Les Charles, and James Burrows. The guest cast includes Christopher McDonald as Rick Walker, Anne Haney as Miss Gilder. Many of you may remember her. Also, she was in Mrs. Doubtfire in 1993, I believe it came out. And she sadly passed away in 2001 from heart failure. And John Ratzenberger as Cliff Clavin. And our summary: a woman comes into a bar. Her name is Miss Gilder. She's applying to take care of Carla's 4 children. She tells Carla her qualifications, but Carla says she just needs to know if the woman can defend herself. Then she tells Miss Gilder to hit her. Oops, I hit it right here. When Miss Gilder hesitates, Carla tells her, $6 an hour. And I'm wondering now with this line, because this is the line that makes the woman hit her. What, since I was only 1982, so I was 2 years old in 1982. I obviously didn't know the price of a babysitter. So, and I tried to find it online, but I couldn't really find much. So I was wondering, for those of you who are older, what was the cost? Sorry, a thing popped up on my Zoom asking me if I was speaking English. Um, what was the cost of a babysitter back then for 4 children? Because I'm trying to figure out if $6 was too low and that's why she hits her, or because it's such a great rate, she hits her because she wants the job. So anyway, Miss Gilder clocks Carla, and Carla tells her, "Great shot. Sit down and we'll work out the details." Where everybody knows your name plays. Norm comes in, and Diane points out that he looks spry today. Norm says that he joined a health club because it had a great snack bar. Cliff asks Sam to show his bar slide to a customer who doesn't believe that Sam can do it. Sam pours a beer into a mug and then slides the glass, and it goes around the corner to Cliff. Diane wants to know how he did it. Sam explains that it's one of his 2 talents. Diane says that his other talent he can't charge a buck for. The phone rings and Coach answers. He tells Sam it's for him. Sam says, "Give me a second." Coach sings into the phone and explains that all the classy joints do that. Sam talks to the person on the phone. It's Rick Walker, a pitcher for the Bo Sox. He tells him to come on over. He hangs up and tells the bar a genuine Red Sox is coming over. Carla starts to clean all the glasses and tells the people to sit up straight. When she finds out that it's Rick Walker, she spits in the glass and says that he can use that one. She is upset because when Walker played for the Tigers, no one could get a hit off of him. But now that he's with the Sox, he leads the leagues in early showers. Sam says that he's glad not everyone feels the same like Carla does. Then Rick comes into the bar and everyone boos him. Rick tells Sam that for him this is a cordial greeting. And he explains that his pitching coach told him Sam knew more about slumps than anyone. Carla asks Rick if he wants an early shower and then gives him a Bronx cheer. Rick recognizes Coach as a former pitching coach. And this is interesting because since the beginning of the series, and later on too, it's been explained that Coach was a third base coach. So does Rick misrecognize him? Or was Coach a pitching coach before he became a third base coach? Or maybe he became a third base coach at the end of his career when he was near retirement? But at some point, I'm assuming he was a pitching coach. That or, like I said, Rick misrecognized him. Was misrecognize a word? Not sure if that's a word. But anyway, um, I'm not sure if he does, and then Sam's just being polite and doesn't correct him. Or if it's just one of those continuity errors that really doesn't make any sense no matter how you look at it, and we just make up reasons to make it work for us. I find it's more fun to make them work than to try to complain about them. Sam introduces Rick to Coach and then goes and gets Rick a beer. Diane asks who Rick is, and Sam explains he is a pitcher and he's in a slump. Diane suggests meditation. She tells him about a facial tic she had and how meditation helps. Shelley Long does this facial tic so well. I love every time she gets to do it. Sam mentions the meditation to Rick. But Coach says that Rick doesn't need meditation. He needs sex. Sam tells Rick that Coach was in baseball for a long time, so maybe he's right about the sex. I think this is interesting too because Sam is the biggest hound dog there is, pretty much in Boston, and he so casually says maybe he knows what he's talking about. You think Sam would be more eager to pursue the sex thing and help him find women even. Rick tells him that he doesn't think that's the answer. Diane tells him not to say it's the answer until he tries it. Sam tries to tell Diane they are not talking about meditation, but she won't listen to him. Diane offers to teach Rick how to do it. Sam is amused. I'm not 100% sure here because Sam himself is amused, but at one point it looked like Ted Danson, the actor, was breaking and trying not to laugh. And not in character, in other words. For those of you who are not familiar, breaking is when an actor does something as the actor and not as the character. She tells Rick that experiencing it outside is beautiful. Rick asks if people stare. She tells him they might, but they'll learn something, and they might even join in. Diane eagerly wants to meditate now. Rick still assumes she's talking about sex. He asks her if she wants to go outside, but she says it's cold out and she likes to take off her shoes. She asks Sam if they can use his office. Sam again tries to explain that they're talking about sex and not meditation, but Diane will not let him speak. She and Rick go into Sam's office. You hear a slap. Diane comes out and her facial tic becomes very noticeable. And again, phenomenal job by Shelley Long with the facial tic. Sam suggests that Rick find some ritual or superstition that works for him. Cliff asks Sam if he had any superstitions. Sam says he never pitched to anyone named Reggie, Willie, or the Bull. So I looked this up. Gregory Luzinski played for the Phillies during the time that Sam would have been pitching for the Sox, and his nickname was the Bull. So I'm assuming that's who he's referring to when he says he won't pitch to the Bull. Coach reminds Sam about his lucky charm. Sam explains he had a lucky bottle cap. Rick says he sure could use it, and Sam pulls it out of his pocket, and he tells Rick it doesn't have to be this bottle cap. Rick asks to borrow it for a couple days, and Sam allows him to. Rick thanks Sam and leaves. Carla stops and mimics choking. Cliff orders another beer. Coach tells Sam he is surprised that Sam parted with that bottle cap. Sam says it's just for a couple days, and the bottle cap isn't special or magical. Then he does his bar slide, but it doesn't work, and it goes off the edge, and the mug breaks and beer spills. Diane tells him, gee, I sure hope you haven't lost your other talent, too. A few days go by, and Diane asks if Rick Walker pitched again. I thought this was a strange line for Diane to have, since she barely even knows what a pitcher does. She knows nothing about sports, except for bowling, which we'll find out later on, of course. So I thought that this line to her was interesting. I mean, I know they had all been talking about it, so she may have picked it up, but since she has no interest in sports, but I think basically they had to give her this line so the others would start talking and they could carry it on. Carlos says he got another save. And the fact that he has a save shows us that he is a relief pitcher, much like Sam was. Um, in today's baseball, we have multiple pitchers during a game, and it's the closing pitcher at the end. But I know when Sam pitched, he was a relief pitcher. So I'm not sure if relief pitcher is closing pitcher as well, because they used a lot less pitching back then, or if there's relief pitcher and then the closing. Again, I was two when this happened, so I can only go off the things I've read. But if he had a save, he would have been a closer, but that could have also been relief. Coach says everyone loves Rick now. Cliff says everyone except for Sammy. They point out that Sam has had a lot of bad luck. And then Sam comes in late and explains that he locked his keys in the car. Cliff says he won the pool, and Norm says that Cliff has won it 3 days in a row. Cliff says yesterday he had that Sam would cut himself shaving, and that the day before that he had that Sam would stub something. Sam tells him it still hurts. Cliff says tomorrow he sees a mine shaft. That line always makes me laugh. The fact that Cliff's spending all this time thinking about what's going to happen to Sam, and then he comes up with this horrible thing about him being in a mine shaft. Diane tells Sam that he can't believe his luck is related to a bottle cap. Sam tells her that Rick's good luck about look. Sorry, I'm trying again. Sam tells her about Rick's good luck with the bottle cap. And I actually learned from my psychology classes. It was applied behavior analysis that I took in college. One of the psychology classes I took because that was my concentration. And I remember the teacher telling us this is actually how superstitions do get started. Something bad or good happens, and if it happens more than once, especially, people are like, oh, this caused that, so this is good luck, or this caused that, so this is bad luck. And that's what Sam is seeing. But just as Diane points here, Diane tells him that he is preoccupied in making the accidents happen himself. And that's also what you see is that when something good happens, somebody says, oh, this caused it. They have it in their hand, and good stuff keeps happening because they believe good stuff will happen. And vice versa, of course. Like with Sam, he becomes preoccupied. He doesn't have the bottle cap. He's so worried about it that he's doing dumb things or whatever, stubbing his toe. And then the more it happens, he starts to believe it's the bottle cap. Carla brings a drink order to Sam. Diane asks Coach how many games Sam won with the bottle cap. Coach tells her none. She asks why Sam thinks the bottle cap is a good luck charm. He tells her that it has nothing to do with baseball, but he can't tell her anything else. Diane is curious, so Coach allows her one yes/no question, which she blows when she asks one question. Coach says yes and walks away. Coach hands Sam a coffee pot. Norm tells Sam that he grabbed it by the sides and asks if it hurt, and Sam tells him hurt's not the right word as he quickly shoves it into the ice. Norm tells him he has to get the bottle cap back. Coach encourages him to call Rick. Sam goes to the phone, but Cliff tells him he can't call now because the game just started at Fenway. Of course, Fenway is the Red Sox ballpark. This is another thing that seems weird to me. They didn't know the game was starting, and it's a sports bar, a very big sports bar. And Cliff is listening to on a small handheld radio. It might have been called transistors, I'm not sure. But he's holding it, and that's how he knows the game's starting. This is a sports bar. Why? And it's Boston. Why is the game not playing on the TV? And how did they not know that it was going to be at Fenway? So I always thought this whole thing was a little bit weird. But Sam says he can survive 9 innings. Norm tells him, with your luck, it will go extra innings. And of course, the game is now in the 21st inning. And for those of you that don't know anything about baseball, a regular game is 9 innings. So they basically play 2 regular games and then some. Cliff decides to go home. Norm says he's going to stay to the end because he's a real Red Sox fan. Until Sam tells him he can't serve any more drinks because the bar is closed. Then Norm also leaves. Diane has dozed off and Norm wakes her on his way out the door. Coach decides to leave and offers Carla a ride home. But Carla says she doesn't want to miss any of the game. Coach tells her they can listen to it in the car. She tells him to wait for the right time, and then she tells Coach to throw the keys and ask where the bar is, and she takes off running. And this is another interesting thing. Couldn't Coach have just got in the car and come back to Carl? That way she could listen until the car was there, get in the car, and not miss anything. Just another thought I had. After she is gone, Coach wonders if he took the bus today. Diane says she is going to go as well, and then the game finally ends. Diane asks Sam if she can ask him a question, but Sam's calling Rick and tells Diane to hold on to her question. He asks the person who answers to have Rick call him at Cheers when he gets out of the shower. Diane asks why the bottle cap is so important to him. He explains that the bottle cap keeps him from drinking. I love Diane's reaction to this line. Like, Sam's completely insane. And then she even says, you don't hear it talking, do you? Very good scene. He says it was the cap of the last alcoholic drink that he ever drank. He tells her that he has been very tempted to have a drink the last few days. The phone rings and Sam answers. Sam asks Rick about the bottle cap. Sam gets off the phone and tells Diane that Rick lost the cap a week ago in Kansas City. Diane suggests they just hop on a plane and go to KC. And again, another line that seemed weird for Diane, who was always the logical one to suggest going there. I think she might have been trying to make a joke because then she does laugh and says, easy come, easy go. But not fully sure about that. It did seem a little out of place for her to me. It almost seemed to me like maybe Sam would be the one to say, hey, do you want to go to Kansas City? Or I think I'm going to take some time off, something like that. Diane stays with Sam even when he tells her to go home. She tells him that he doesn't want to be in a bar tonight, but that tomorrow he will feel better. Diane offers to get drunk for Sam. She even offers to get sick. Sam opens a bottle of beer and pours it into the mug. He looks at it and then successfully does the bar slide and sends it to Diane around the corner of the bar. He tells her, I guess I gave Rick the wrong one, huh? And he holds the bottle cap. He apologizes to Diane for scaring her. She says, I knew you could do it, as that facial tic returns in full force. I can actually, for those of you watching, I'll show you my impression of the facial tic. I gave this episode 4.5 out of 5 beer nuts. I really enjoyed this episode. As a kid, I thought that Sam's bar slide was the coolest thing. I was 9, as I told you before, when I started watching the show, and I just was amazed how he could do that. I couldn't figure it out. And I've since learned that it was done with filament, but I still really enjoy seeing it. Pretty cool to watch. The MVP of this episode is Shelley Long. As I said, her whole facial tic thing is perfect. The conversation between her and Rick is so classic, with two people thinking two different things. And then she won't even listen to Sam, who tries to clarify it. Just the whole episode, where she tries to ask Coach a question, but accidentally asks a question about asking questions. Yeah, I think she just does an awesome job on the show. My favorite line is after Sam has grabbed that coffee pot there and burns his hands. Norm says, Sammy, you got to get that bottle cap back. For the first time in my life, I'd rather be me than you. And my runner-up favorite line, when Coach is talking to Rick about how he should try sex instead of meditation, Coach says, in my day, there were always a lot of attractive young dames outside the stadium waiting for the ball players. Rick says, they're still there, Coach. Coach, no kidding. Say hello to Rosie McGonigal. Rick replies, different ones are there, Coach. Here's a little known fact. Cliff says that the ball game started in Fenway. The game was then in the 21st inning. The longest, by inning, game ever played at Fenway was on September 3rd through 4th in 1981. It was 20 innings. They had to suspend the game at 19 innings due to an AL, that's American League, curfew, and it was finished the next day. The Bo Sox lost to the Mariners 8-7. The question for this week, for my dear listeners, do you have a superstition or a lucky charm? Please feel free to share it with us in the comments or any of these other places. If you like this episode, please do all the buttons that we do, liking, subscribing, commenting, etc. For whatever format you're listening on. And please check out our Facebook group. Cheers. That's one woman's opinion. You can also follow us on Instagram at Cheers One Woman's Opinion Podcast. And always feel free to email us with questions and comments at Cheers One Woman Podcast at gmail.com. Our next episode will be Cheers Season 1, Episode 11, One for the Books. And that's One Woman's Opinion. Have a great day.